live.
Okay, I see the icon. Let me
So
double
you
check.
can start the recording whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Here we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. It seems it's been a while since we gave a webinar, but we're here. Lance Luke, Martin Pea, part of Ask the Building webinar series. We have a topic that's not watered down, but it's called Managing Water Intrusion, Tackling Leaks, Drainage, and Mold in Buildings. As you know, mold is the dreaded four-letter word, and we're going to talk a little about that, how, what happens, how does mold grow and stuff like that. Without getting too technical, um, our production team told me I have to give some commercial remarks. So National Building Expert, Ask the Building Expert. This is part of the webinar series. This is me. I lost weight from when I took the photos. So, Martin, I should take better photos so I'm not looking as fat, right? So, especially walking on a roof. So this webinar is presented by Construction Management Inspection, which is local firm based out of Honolulu, Hawaii. We service not only island of Oahu, but neighbor islands and West Coast areas in the US, such as San Fran, LA, Portland. We go as far as Las Vegas, maybe, but that's about it, unless it's special inspections that we need to do or things like that. We don't want to travel too far. And then let's get right into it. So our subject today is we're going to talk about water intrusion and things like that. So um, as you know, that there could be issues regarding water problems in your house or in your building, causing minor damage or maybe big damage, increased water bills, and maybe some health concerns caused by water leaking. So we're going to talk about various types of leaks and steps to take toward the repair. So the issue is we want to stop any kind of water damage because it's, we want to prevent property damage from the water, and ignoring it could be a problem. If you have leaky supply, which is water, you're going to have a higher water bill, wasting water. And if you don't attend to it, you got mold and mildew issues, maybe health problems, environmental impact if you don't repair things correctly. And we're going to talk about some common types of water leaks: plumbing leaks, roof leaks, window leaks, which is water going through your window frame, exterior wall leaks where you have floor caulking or you haven't painted in a while, and when it rains, water comes in from the outside and gets inside the house, and then foundation leaks. We're going to talk about steps for fixing water leaks, identification of the source, turn off the water, repair, replace as needed, get professional help if you're not a do-it-yourselfer, and then also preventive maintenance, right? You don't wait until something breaks and like a pipe starts leaking, especially an old cast iron drain pipe. You want to pay attention to it and tackle it, replace it before it starts leaking. So common tips that could help you and your house or building. So the first kind of water issue that we're going to talk about is groundwater or drainage problems. You have excess rainwater, That's why you have gutters around the property or building. You may have groundwater contamination if there's wastewater mixing in with groundwater. Okay, so that's not good because it ends up, especially in Hawaii, we have aquifers that we get our fresh water from. And then too much water, you have soggy landscaping turns into mud, and you got further problems. Then you have excess water could be contributed to foundation damage. If you always have water against the foundation, you could have cracks or erosion on concrete or wood rot if it's wood, leading to mold or mildew. You could have insulation in the walls when it gets wet. It's just no good. Even if it dries out, it just doesn't function as new insulation. And then too much water, you have some soil erosion. That's when you have too much of the soil erosion under your house foundation, then your house could be moving from that. And then some more issues, flooding of roads and then overflow off the road leads to basement flooding. Not too many houses have basements, but if you don't have a basement, but you're still low to the ground, a house or building, it could be flooded. I know a lot of condo buildings where we had hurricanes and floods, their first floor lobby got flooded out. And then you have water quality issues where you could have contamination of your drinking water or contamination of just streams or rivers. And these streams or rivers lead to the ocean. And I'm talking about Hawaii here, mainly. So in Hawaii, the streams, if the stream or the river is contaminated, guess what? It goes out into the ocean and then part of the ocean gets contaminated. But it's just the situation is getting worse and worse. And then you have legal issues, regulatory compliance regarding groundwater drainage. That's why you cannot, wash your car out on the road and let the water drain into the gutter, right? Storm drain. Believe it or not, that's not allowed. Also, uh, painting, painting a building. So the painting company cannot pressure wash the building and have all that excess water drain out into the gutter that leads into the storm drain. There's huge fines for that. So we're talking about environmental concerns, right? And then let's talk about plumbing leaks. It's pretty common. You have pipe leaks. It could be a fixture that's leaking. It could be an appliance, such as a water heater, where it gets too old and starts corroding and it develops these leaks. And it a water heater actually could be leaking for some time, a couple of months or even a year, where it develops a slow leak, and then all of a sudden it just turns into a huge leak, right? And then that's a serious issue, especially if you're in a condo, right? Let's say you're in a condo and um, you're on the 21st floor and the guy above you, right, doesn't replace his water heater and the thing starts leaking. You're gonna know pretty fast when you have water dripping down from your ceiling that there's a leak. That's why we always try to spread the word and tell people don't wait until it gets bad. If you see a lot of corrosion around your water heater or you see some water, have a plumber come out and check it. And most times he's going to recommend that you replace it because you cannot repair corrosion on a water heater, right? And then you have leaks underneath your sink. Could be a kitchen sink. It could be bathroom sink, and then also there could be leaks from your tub or from your shower faucet. And remember, a lot of times the plumbing is in the wall, inside the wall, and you can't see it. There have been cases where in a high-rise condo, the guy down below says, "Hey, I got water dripping," and he knocks on the door of the condo unit above him, and the guy goes, "Oh, there's no leak in my bathroom." And he doesn't know that because the pipe is inside the wall and it's not visible to the unit owner. So these are things to be aware of. Some other types of plumbing leaks are sewer line leaks, which is not the best kind of leak. You could have a concrete foundation slab leak, and we say it's a slab leak, but it's actually not. It's water that's coming underneath the slab, the foundation slab, and going up into the slab and then appearing on the inside of the house. Okay, so that is common when you have piping that's located underneath your house foundation. Okay, so the difference between house construction, you have a concrete slab and then you have a raised foundation. And there's room under the house, to crawl under there. There's also another type, which is a basement foundation, but that's commonly um, on the mainland and not really in Hawaii. And then you have a roof leak, which is not a plumbing leak, but yeah, this is an exaggerated photo, but and then on the mainland, you have frozen pipe that cracks or bursts, and it's because the water inside the pipe freezes. And that's more of a mainland or in a country or area that has freezing temperatures. Okay, so that photo of a roof previously should be on this slide, but somehow it got mixed up. But roof leaks of various types. You got weather-related, such as snow. We don't have too much of that in Hawaii. Aging, wear and tear on your roof, causing the roof to leak if you don't attend to it right away. You could have flashing issues and then also ice dams building up. So the key here is you want to get your roof fixed or inspected and don't wait until it starts leaking, right? If you get contractors, roofing contractors come to your place, and it doesn't matter whether it's a house or you're living in a condo building. Contractor come out and he can tell you, yeah, your roof is like not performing as intended, and I think you should replace it or have it repaired. Okay, so you get an opinion from professionals. And sometimes with the opinion, the people don't listen, and then there's other issues that come to play. So in a building, commercial building or apartment building, most times the roof is flat, right? So you could have like a floor drain on top of your roof that gets clogged. Okay, so the objective is you gotta make sure your roof is inspected. And in a condo building, you're not going to go up on the roof yourself to look at, but that's when you ask the building manager or site or resident manager saying, when was the last time, you guys checked the roof? Can you guys check it? And then if there's any problem, report it. And when you check it, fill out an inspection report and actually take pictures so we can have documentary evidence of the inspection that was completed and if any repairs need to be done. You live in a house or a condo building, there may be skylights and exhaust vent leaks at your vent or skylight, and common to single family houses and townhouses. And You know, a lot of townhouse buildings are actually condos, and they don't have flat roofs necessarily, and they may have skylights, they may have vents, so you want to be sure that the vents are all sealed at the base, flashing. That's normally the areas where it would be leaking. Then you have gutter and downspout conditions where it leaks at the joint and no one really wants to pay any attention to it. You know, that's maintenance. And then may have like a act of God kind of thing, like a tree falling down onto a roof. Although if the tree has been dead for a while and it's close to the house and you don't do anything about it, um, it could be an accident waiting to happen, right? So that's where the insurance may come in, but the insurance may say, you know, how long has this tree been here? How long has the tree been dead? And can't you see that it's a 50-foot tree and it's located 30 feet away from your house? If it falls over like it did, the tree is higher than the length to get to your house, right? And this is what happened. So they may say it's your own fault for not tending to the problem when you should have. And let's talk about window leaks. I'm really not talking about like old jealousy windows where if you leave it open, rain can come in, or you have a sliding window and you leave it open when it rains and it's heavy wind. Of course, water can get in, right? We're talking about um, weather-related leaks during heavy rain and driving force winds that cause the rain to blow sideways, but that's part of the problem. The other problem is maybe the window has poor caulking, improper installation, right? It has condensation issues. If the building is old, aging, deteriorated, if it has wood frames, the caulking's missing, water can easily get in at the joint between the window frame and your wall, right? If it's not wood frame, and I've seen a lot where they have metal windows, and the metal windows, the metal is all corroded because there's a lot of salt air in Hawaii and it attacks metal. So it could be that you got these pits and then small holes where water can get in. So it becomes problematic when you have windows leaking. Like in the picture here, you have a window frame and there's a ledge and then there's a little like a counter or like a shelf, and water seeping in actually from the window wall itself. Some more window leaks, sealant failure. You have this rubber gasket that goes around the window, right? And it's located between the glass and the window frame. If that material gets warped or so old that it shrinks, then it doesn't serve its purpose. So that's also a situation where water can get in. I mean, it's pretty obvious when we see that, or maybe sometimes it's missing. I know I've seen some houses where it's totally missing, and I said, well, what happened to the gasket yet? Oh, the thing like was lifting up and all that, and it was too hard to clean, so we just removed it. I said, well, do you know what the purpose was? I think you gotta put it back or get somebody to fix. So sealant failure, caulking, your gaskets, your frame and sill damage. You want to make sure that everything's watertight. Leaks around your window. Sometimes on the mainland they have these wells around your windows. But just think about this: if you're on the outside, okay, of your house, and you have a garden hose and you're shooting water directly at your window and the wall, Do you think that water can get in? Now, if the answer is yes, then it's problematic. Now, that's single family house. Can you imagine on a high-rise condo? It's the same concept, right? You want to make sure, but there's no way for you to check, right? So you'd have to hire professionals to rig the building, go up on a swing stage, and either inspect or do water testing. Okay, so it gets kind of technical, but if it needs to be done to discover where the leaks are, then that's fine too. How about exterior wall leaks? Weather-related leaks, heavy rain, wind, pounding hurricane force winds where the wind is so strong and actually the rain causes the rain to blow sideways. So if you're outside holding an umbrella, you have no protection because the rain's coming in sideways. So that's what's happening at building wall. And if you don't have paint to protect it or waterproofing, guess what? The water is going to get in. It doesn't matter if your wall is made out of concrete, CMU block, wood, stucco material, or anything like that. Water can still get in. And then on an exterior wall, the construction method is they use flashing and caulking, right? So if the flashing is not done correctly or if it's worn away, then that could be another condition for a leak. Cracked or damaged masonry, that's like hollow tile blocks or bricks. And then sometimes the grouting cracks or just falls off, right? Now you have an open space there where water can get in. And then faulty siding. Now, in the past, there was wood siding that wasn't real wood. It was ground up, fabricated pieces of wood with other kind of chemical makeup, and it was fibrous. And all those manufacturers got sued because their siding material used to get so warped and expanded when it was wet, and it basically disintegrated. It was like a higher level cardboard, so to speak. So that's the brand name is like Masonite siding, LP, Louisiana, Pacific, that type. It was all man-made, I would call it wood type siding. Okay. And then after that came your stucco type siding, and then your EIFS, exterior insulation finish system, which is basically upgraded stucco kind of material. But once they install that and you have cracks in it, then that's another issue where water can get in. So the more sophisticated the construction building material industry, the more problematic there could be. So some more on exterior wall leaks, foundation leaks, as I mentioned, insulation issues, roof to wall connection or junction leaks. You might not see it because it's up on the top on your roof, but that's another area that could be problematic. And then caulking and sealant failures. Now, there's a lot of times where I've seen leaks and there's nothing wrong with the wall. The water had come in from failed caulking at the joint between the first floor and the second floor, or your roof and your wall, or anytime you have dissimilar materials, that's area that could fail in the future. So that's the kind of things we look for. Dissimilar building materials. You have like a metal window frame connected to wood siding, right? So we look at that joint, it needs to be caulked. And mold, the 4-letter word. So anytime you have water into your house, and it could be where you live, an apartment, single family house, duplex, high-rise condo, low-rise condo, townhouse, any type of living area that you live in. If you have water coming from the outside, wall, foundation, or roof, or a plumbing leak, right? It could be a contributing factor to mold. Now, mold doesn't grow on concrete or brick that becomes dangerous. It grows on cellulose material. And what is that? It's material that's made from wood. So mold can grow on wood. Mold can grow on drywall because it's cellulose type of material, right? Mold can grow on carpet, right? On the back of the carpet, you have this grid that looks like little, strings of rope. I've seen mold growing on that, but the more dangerous type is when it's inside your double wall of drywall, right? So I've seen mold grow on wood, bare wood, or even painted wood, mold on drywall, or you cut a hole in the drywall and you look on the back side of it and there's mold. Now, the mold I'm talking about is not mold that if you have bread and you leave it out, it gets moldy and you see it starts growing this green, brown, or black stuff. Okay, that's a different type of mold. The mold we're talking about is building related mold situations. So, which is not safe. There's many cases, and there's different types of mold too. So sometimes you may not be able to see it. Now, when you see it, it's pretty obvious, but there could be mold because the spores are so minute you can't see it with the naked eye, right? If you take some mold and you put it under a microscope, then you can see it. So a lot of times people are getting sick in their house and it's from mold, but they can't see it. But one telltale sign is you may be able to smell it because it's like the mildewy type smell, right? So that's kind of a giveaway. So basically, that's the gist of my presentation today. And let's see what else we have here. Conclusion from the building expert. The takeaway on this is make sure you don't have any water leaks. And if you do, attend to it right away. And as I mentioned before, a water leak could be foundation coming from the ground. It could be rain, could be a overflow from a stream. I mean, any type of water situation, from a flood, from a broken pipe. All these fall under a water incident or a leak. Okay, so just pay attention to these things and then hire experts to help you. I know it costs money, but it's money well spent. What you miss, we've given numerous webinars in the past, and if you go to our website, there's a whole list. Every webinar, we record it, and there's a video, and we offer it on our website for free. You can watch it, and we've given webinars on almost every single construction and building related topic, from roofing, hurricane ties, painting, electrical, asphalt, and the list goes on and on. I don't want to give the whole list now, but I do have a list here of webinars in the future, and what's coming up. So what's coming up is I'm just going to give you the titles of the webinars that are coming up for the rest of the year. Condo remodeling simplified, from design to execution. So if you're planning on remodeling your condo, or if you're a property manager or board member that looks at design requests, okay, that might be beneficial for you to attend that webinar. And then we have types of engineers for your construction project. Believe it or not, there's not just one engineer. There's a whole bunch of different engineers for different specialties, from mechanical, electrical, civil, structural, and those kind of things. And then we have fire sprinklers, who needs it? And that could apply not only for condo buildings, but any kind of high-rise building or even a single-family house. If you want to learn about fire sprinklers, tune into that webinar. And we have one condo, top 10 condo renovation projects. And these are top 10 costly condo renovation projects or capital improvement projects, right? It's not your unit owner doing renovation, it's your condo association fixing your roof, concrete spalling, painting, waterproofing, doing repiping of your whole building, electrical, things like that. And then we have another webinar, construction terminology. It's like, what's all this mumbo jumbo? I'm going to clear up some concepts so that when you talk to contractors, you know what they're talking about, right? Terms like it has to be 16 inches on center. Oh, what does that mean? Right? So terminology, you're going to be able to, after that webinar, talk to contractors and not wonder what they're talking about. And then this is Hawaii related, history of major disasters in Hawaii. And then I got two that are, one is a condo, smart condo management, asset care and legal requirements. And that's condo real estate, property management. And then I have one on real estate licensing, ethics, and AI marketing for realtors. So it's kind of like a mixed bag at the end. Normally, I give talks about construction and building stuff, but I decided to throw in some real estate things. Here we go. Okay, so that's what's coming up, and you might, well, how do we get to your website? It's right here, askbuildingexpert.now.site. Every day, we're constantly updating our website and putting more information on. Like after our webinar today, we're going to put our recorded video on the website. So you could watch it either from our website or we're streaming live on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So you can watch those too. So if you're watching live, thank you. And thank you to those who are logged into our Zoom platform. Appreciate you. And then also those of you who are watching live. If you're not watching live, if you're watching a replay, you can always make posts and we'll look at it and respond. We respond to everybody's post. It doesn't have to be a question. It could be a comment, right? So we look for that too. Also, if you have any ideas for future topics, we're open to listening to you. That's the whole reason why we have some of our webinars, because people have suggested talk about this, talk about that. Now, I want to put a plug in that I wrote a book about the Lahaina fire, and it's available on Amazon if you're interested. If you don't want to pay the $14.95 on Amazon, shoot us a email and we'll send you the ebook for free. I'm not sure if that book is on our website or not. We'll have to check because we recently had to revise the cover, and then we put it on Amazon. It's not available, and we recently put it back on. So we'll have to check on that. But if you want it free, and then we also have other free books too. We have a book on monster houses if you're interested. And I know there's people logged in that are not from Hawaii. They're watching from other parts of the US and even parts around the world. So you might not have monster houses or interested in that topic, but if you're from Hawaii, especially from Honolulu, if you're interested in monster houses, I got the rundown in my book. I actually have copies of the actual violation notices from DPP that were issued to the monster house developers. So uh, that's all there for you to check out. So at this time, if you have any questions, hopefully I have the answers. You need to get a hold of me. My number's on the screen. If you're not looking at the screen but listening, it's 808-422-2132. Somebody told me that once in a while I get calls. Somebody in Oregon has the same number, but the area code is different. And I get calls because they have like some kind of nail salon or something. One time I had a call from somebody wanting to book an appointment, and I'm like, oh, do you need an inspection? They said, no, I need my nails done. And I'm thinking, oh, you called the wrong number. So they misdialed the area code or something. If you need to email me, it's lanceluke@hawaiibuildingexpert.com. And we're available to help. Uh, we like hard questions too. So, or hard situations, or we're willing to come out and check your building out. If you have a building related problem, just let us know. So I want to see if Martin's around, if we got any questions that came in from the audience, and we'll be happy to tackle them.
Yes, Lance, I'm here, and just to answer your question about the Lahaina wildfire book, it is on the website publication section for
Oh
amongst
yeah,
all
okay.
others.
So that means people can get it free and they don't have to pay the $14.95, right? Um, even like they gotta pay for shipping, I guess. I don't know. I've heard people go, "Oh yeah, we ordered your book and we didn't have to pay for shipping because we're a Prime member." And then I heard somebody else say, "Oh, we still have to pay for shipping and we're a Prime member." So I'm like, I don't know. If you want something for free, you get the book for free, but the shipping is less than the cost of the book, right? So
Yeah.
good. Thank you. So all you people out there, if you're interested in reading about the Lahaina fire, go read the book. Now, some of the information in the book is my personal uh, statements that I made. I may not have the actual factual data on some of the statements I'm making, but at that time, nobody really did. And to this day, nobody has really the facts because the answers haven't come out yet. So, uh, just to let you know, I wasn't making up stuff. I was just saying, in my opinion, I think this is what the causation of the fire was. So, feel free to read it. I'm open to discussion. If you don't agree with some of the things I said, that's fine. We can talk about it or whatever. So, um, moving away from that subject, what kind of questions do we have about this topic today?
Well, on this topic, we had a few questions come in, so let me double check them on online here. And the first one I have is, could you provide some tips for identifying and addressing hidden water leaks, particularly those within walls or underground, where the source may not be immediately visible? Good
I don't
question.
have any tips because it's hidden. I don't have X-ray vision. But anyway, okay, so here's the idea. If you have what you think is a plumbing leak, okay, plumbing, you turn on your faucet, you got, water coming out of it. If you think there's a leak, there's a way to check, right? You turn everything off, don't have any water running, and you go to your water meter and you take a look at your water meter. If your water meter is stopped, right, there's a little dial there, right, that looks sort of like a big watch, and there's like movement, right? So if you don't see any movement, on the dial, right? That means that there's no water leak because it's stopped. But if all your fixtures are turned off and you look at your dial there and it's still moving, then there must be a leak somewhere. Okay, that's a way to tell. That's what the board of water method that they use too. Okay, now if it's not a plumbing leak, if it's a drain pipe leak, well, the only way is you're going to see water coming out from somewhere. Okay, so if it's a foundation type leak, you're going to see water somewhere, and then you're going to have to try to figure out what's going on, right? So call professionals in. If it's a plumbing contractor, you want to call that person, have him or her come out to take a look and see if they can determine anything. Now, there's a lot of people in the industry who have moisture detectors or moisture meters or thermography cameras. I mean, when you call up, call somebody, ask them if they have that kind of equipment, because then that's a way to, the more equipment, the better to figure out what's going on, right? So hopefully that's the answer to the question.
Oh, yes, thanks, Lance. Well, I kind of came up with a question on that. As you mentioned about checking the water dial, where would I'm not educated in where that dial might be to check.
Oh, okay. So if you're living in like a single family house or duplex, you go out in your sidewalk area. Okay, there's a little round cover, right? And that's your board of water meter. So you take that cover off. It looks like a cast iron kind of deal. It's not smooth. So you take the cover off and your water meter is there.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I know where you're talking about then. Thank you. I just wasn't sure if there was one like on the house you get for the electric meter, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this one is going to be in the ground and usually in the sidewalk. On older houses, which they may not have a sidewalk, it's somewhere that you would have to find right now.
Right.
If you lived in a commercial condo or you're in a commercial building, it may be on the other side of the street, right? So you have a big building that takes like half a block or whatever. So it might not be exactly where the entrance to the building is. It might be on the side, right? A side street or something. So you got to kind of go and hunt for it. But if you're
Okay.
in doubt and you call the board of water supply, they'll come out. If you have like a gushing leak, right, and you can't find your main or your main broke off or whatever, you call the board of water and they'll come out and they'll shut the water off in the street that goes to your house, right? So they and they'll tell you, they can help you find where your meter is and all that. So they're pretty helpful and they come out, pretty fast. So
Okay.
that's just some tips to help you. If you call them up on the phone and ask like where your water meter is, they're probably not going to tell you because they don't really know.
Well, it sounds good. Thanks. Good helpful tip there. So
Okay.
the next question that's come in here is, you mentioned the importance of professional assistance for certain types of leaks. How do we go about selecting a qualified professional or contractor for leak detection and repair? And what should we look for in their services?
Okay, so you would look for a plumbing company that, in addition to plumbing work, they have a division or they specialize in leak detection. And not every plumbing company does that, right? So you have different varieties of plumbing companies. You have plumbing companies that are called service companies, where you have an overflow toilet or your sink's leaking. or something like that, they come out and do these spot repairs, right? That's a service company. And then you have uh, companies, although there are few, that do entire building replacement of plumbing, either supply piping or cast iron piping. These companies are not service companies where you call them because you have a toilet that keeps running. They work on entire buildings, and it could be condos, hotels, apartment buildings, and that's their job, right? So there's the two differences. Um, both would have specialized equipment, but mainly you would call a service plumber. And if you look in like an online directory, such as Best Hawaii Business Directory of their plumbing contractors, you have to make sure and ask them, do you guys do leak detection? And not just leak like if your toilet's leaking. You want to know if there's a pipe underground or in the wall that's leaking, would they be able to use the equipment, or do they have equipment to figure out where the leak is, what the origin of the leak is? Okay, so these are the kind of companies that you call. You're not going to just call uh, a plumbing company that just does repairs, right? And they don't have the equipment to do leak detection. Now, a lot of companies have gotten in the business of leak detection because it just evolved over time. Years ago, like 10 years ago, you call a plumbing company and there's a leak and they go, oh, we don't know where the leak is. And they didn't have equipment or anything. And now they realize that they're going to need to get in the business in order to take the business for themselves. Because otherwise they go, well, we'll charge you for the service call. We don't know where the leak is. Just call somebody else who specializes in that. So there's a difference. It's always good to ask questions first and let them tell you, no, we don't do leak detection. Okay, then, don't waste your time talking to them anymore or waste their time. Because if you call them, they're going to come out and you're going to have to pay the service call if they don't do anything. Okay, so that's the name of the game now. So very important. Ask your questions about leak detection, and they're going to ask you, well, where is it coming from, right? Is it coming from the ground? Is it inside the house? Things like that. There've been situations where I got called and they thought it was a roof leak because water was dripping from their ceiling inside the house. Come to find out, it was a plumbing leak because they had plumbing pipes through their attic and it sprung a leak. So the people that lived in the house never went up in the attic, so they didn't know what was up there, right? So they had plumbing pipes in the attic and they had electrical wires in the attic. So not a good combination if the water's gushing out and spraying on your electrical lines, right? So it was old knob and tube wiring that had no insulation. So if it gets wet and you touch it, it's what you're shocked, right? So, all right. So hopefully it was a long, drawn out answer, but hopefully I answered the question.
Oh, no, good distinction there, Lance. So thank you for that answer. Okay, we get one more question here that's come up, and it says, could you share more information on the potential legal and insurance considerations related to water leaks, especially in the context of property damage and mold issues? What steps should homeowners take to ensure they're adequately covered? So it's actually two questions there.
Well, actually, that's a good question, because lately insurance companies are upping their rates and actually canceling people for no reason. I mean, they have a reason, right? And we know what the reason is, because they've been paying out too many claims. So be careful. Review your insurance policy with your agent and ask the question, right? A lot of people just get the insurance because it's insurance, but they don't even know what's included, or they know what's included. Okay, plumbing, a plumbing leak, that's included. Okay, but then what exactly is included? If I have a leaky pipe and it floods, causes a flood to my house, is my insurance company going to pay for everything, right? To fix all the damage. Now, if it's a drain pipe, a sewer pipe, I flush my toilet, it overflows, and my house gets flooded with sewage. Is my insurance going to cover that? You got to ask these questions. If you live in a condo, right? Same questions, right? Now, what happens if I live in a condo and the neighbor above me or next door to me, their toilet overflows with sewage and my unit gets contaminated? Is my insurance going to cover that? Is a unit owner's insurance going to cover that? What if the owner says, "Oh, I don't have insurance," right? Is your insurance going to cover? And then here's the biggie. Okay, listen to this. The insurance companies are getting so strict that they're not automatically covering every single incident. Here's an example. There was a drain pipe leak, okay, in a condo building, high-rise condo. That condo unit owner filed a claim with his insurance company. And you would think, okay, it's all going to be taken care of. Guess what? The claim got denied. For what reason? The guy's like, he's been paying insurance for 26 years. The reason it got denied was the insurance company said, this is not a one-time occurrence. When they investigated, there was a pipe inside the wall, which no one could see, and it's been leaking for several years. So they don't cover an ongoing situation. They don't consider it a one-time occurrence. They consider it an ongoing occurrence, which they're not going to cover. And furthermore, the guy had thousands of dollars of mold remediation to do. And guess what? In the fine print, there's an exclusion for mold-related damage. So the guy had to pay out of his own pocket to fix the mold. And he thought all this time his insurance would take care of it. He actually, because he lived in a condo, he actually went to the condo association insurance company and said, I'm a member of the association. My own insurance company is not covering me, so I want the condo insurance to take over. And the condo insurance said, oh, wait a minute, why should we pay out? So there was this big fight, right, going on. So it may get more complicated than what people think. Don't automatically assume that your insurance is going to cover you for everything, right? There was another case where there was a fire in a next door condo unit, and the insurance didn't pay for smoke damage in the next door condo. There was no fire damage, it was just smoke damage, right? So it's just kind of a toss-up. And lately these insurance companies are in Hawaii in condos, they're requiring like 100%. The government's requiring 100%, the lender's requiring 100% coverage for hurricane insurance, and a lot of condo buildings are underinsured. If your building is $300 million in value, right? Your hurricane coverage should be 300 million. If they look at their policy, they find out that their hurricane coverage is 50 million. So the lender of a person who's gonna buy a unit said, we can't finance, sorry, because they don't have enough coverage. So it's just getting stricter and stricter by the day. In fact, last week and the week before, I was getting calls from people. This week, I got like three calls or emails from people asking, is this true? I don't understand this insurance thing. We're trying to buy a unit in a condo building, and uh, uh, we qualify for the financing part, but we can't get the loan from this lender because they said uh, their condo reserves are not enough, or their hurricane coverage insurance is not enough, or they have too many delinquencies in the building, so we're not going to get coverage. So you're going to hear in the future a lot of condos are not going to be covered by standard conventional financing. In conventional financing, what happens is these lenders, not to get too complicated, but these lenders on the conventional market, if it's a conventional loan, they sell the loan to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is government issued entities, right? Government entities. If the government is not going to buy the loan, these savings and loans or banks, credit unions, they're not going to make the loan. Okay, now there's a difference between a conventional loan, which is a government type Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan, versus a portfolio loan. A portfolio loan, the interest rate's higher, and it's portfolio. The lender, whoever it is, it's going to make the loan with their own money and not sell it and then keep it. But the interest rates are higher in a portfolio loan than a standard conventional loan. That's the problem. The reason why I know I'm kind of going off here on a tangent because we're supposed to be talking about water issues, but it's related, right? The insurance claims are related. The buying a condo is related. I was just at a condo annual meeting last week, and some of the owners during the owners forum said, what's going on, right? I can't get a loan to, the buyer can't get a loan. I'm trying to sell my condo. The buyer can't get a loan. They're telling me that the reserves are not enough, or the lender is not qualifying the property. Believe it or not, lenders have to qualify the property. They have to qualify. If you're in a condo and you want to sell your condo, okay, and it's XYZ condo, the lender has to approve XYZ condo. Every condo building has to be approved by a lender. If it's a VA or FHA, those lenders have to be sure that if it's a VA loan, that building is approved for VA financing or FHA financing. So talk to your real estate agent, talk to your mortgage broker, they can fill you in. I know this subject of today's topic is not about financing or insurance or anything like that, but I thought since it has come up recently and more than once or twice, I figured I'll fill you guys in. You're going to hear more about it, and people are going to get upset when insurance companies start canceling them for no reason. And I just heard this morning, and you know the reason why is because there's too many claims, and the big claims are building related, such as all the numerous wildfires that we had on the mainland and here in Hawaii. These insurance companies got billions and billions of dollars, right, of claims. And if they don't get out of the market, you know, certain markets, or stop issuing policies, or maybe not renew policies, that's the only way they're going to survive, because they're paying out too many claims. So wildfires, hurricane damage on the mainland. I remember that Florida building that collapsed. That was huge insurance claim. So 20 years ago, insurance companies are making tons of money, right? People pay insurance. How many people pay insurance every year? Thousands of dollars, and they don't make a claim, right? So all these insurance companies, and it's a numbers game. Now, it's not really a numbers game. The tide is reversed. It's a numbers game, not for the insurance companies to get all these premiums and not pay out. They're paying out, and they're getting scared and worried. So that's a whole nother issue. It may be harder to get insurance. I know some condo buildings in Hawaii, their premium is $1 million a year insurance. So can you imagine you tack that on to what their maintenance fee is and all that? I mean, it gets up there, right? So check with your insurance company. Don't just assume that your policy covers certain things, right? If you have an umbrella policy that's mixed with your auto insurance, your homeowners, whatever, pick up the phone, email your agent and say, hey, I want to know what my coverage is, and give them scenarios. If I have a plumbing leak, if I have this, that, just give them what ifs and then see what the response is, right? And if they don't know what the response is, ask them, well, can you find out and get back to me? Because most people, they pay for the insurance, they file their policy away, and they don't even look at it. Some don't even know where their policy is, right? And some don't even know what the coverage is. They think, yeah, I got insurance. Oh, well, what does that mean, right? I just talked to somebody the other day. They're hiring a contractor to do remodeling. I said, well, we need your insurance and the contractor's insurance. I said, well, why do you need the contractor's insurance? I said, well, because he's doing work in a condo. If you lived in a house, we don't care. But so it really gets more technical, and sometimes it gets confusing. Even I have to call up some of the condo insurance companies and ask them the questions, and they're like, "Oh, nobody asked me that question before." I said, "Well, I'm asking you now because it's going to come up." So just good words of advice. So, Martin, any other questions or comments from Zoom or social media before we sign off?
No, well, I had questions, but I just want to follow up and kind of close with what you said. I've heard from close friends in the insurance industry that it is changing in Hawaii, and we may not have as many selections of choices to be insured by. Because, like you say, the industry is almost like moving towards the un, unsuccessful business side of the category. And like you said, they were making money hand over fist over all these years, but now they're really starting to move towards losing money. So
Yeah,
that's something to really be concerned about. And yet the other side of the coin, like you say, is a lot of it is required. So where's the trade-off, and how's it really going to end up for the consumer? So I agree with you, and I understand the complicated problem. And we've trusted insurance for all this time, but really can't really trust it anymore because you don't know, like you said, you don't know what you're really trusting and have. Yeah. So
yeah.
appreciate your words of wisdom and the problems with water. So I think we're just got to become more aware and understand how all these issues can affect us. So thank you very much
All
for
right. So, on behalf of Martin and I, Ask the Building Expert webinar series, we thank you for attending, regardless of whether you're on Zoom or on our various social media platforms, regardless of whether you're in Hawaii, the US, or around the world. I know some people are tuning in from Portugal, which is a good thing. But yeah, we welcome everybody. Email us, reach out to us. We'll be happy to talk story with you. Tune in to the next webinar, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Aloha. Mahalo.
aloha.